The morning bell at community secondary school Buhari did not ring. It clanged. It cut through the air with a harsh, metallic force that made conversation stumble and thoughts scatter. Students poured into the compounds in waves of restless energy, laughing, spilling into arguments, shoes dragging across dusty grounds, voices overlapping until they became one continuous noise. But in the middle of all this movement stood stillness. Under the wild armored tree near the assembly ground stood a boy who seemed untouched by everything around him, Daniel Okeke. While others rushed, Daniel remained rooted. While others spoke, he stayed quiet. While others belonged, he stood slightly outside it all, as though the world had drawn a cycle and forgotten to include him. He held a worn-out sketchbook tightly against his chest, not casually, not loosely, tightly, like it mattered more than anything else, like it was the only thing that did.
Siam, one boy whispered loudly, nudging his friend with his elbow. The mumu don't come again. A ripple of laughter followed. Daniel heard it. He always did. Every word, every tone, every shift in voice. The world was loud to him in ways no one understood, but he didn't react. He never did. Instead, his fingers began to move like repetitive taps against the edge of his sketchbook. A quiet rhythm, a private pattern, a way to hold himself together in a world that constantly felt like it was coming apart. To most people, Daniel was strange. He didn't look people in the eye. He flinched at sudden sound, the scrape of a chair, the slam of the door. He repeated movements, adjusting his shirt, tapping his fingers, tracing invisible lines in the air as if following something only he could see.
When teachers asked him questions, he often stayed silent. And when he did answer, his responses came out delayed, awkward, or misplaced, like his thought had to travel a long distance before reaching his voice. "Are you okay at all?" one teacher snapped once, his patience already exhausted. The class had burst into laughter. Daniel had simply lowered his head. What nobody understood, what nobody cared enough to understand, was that Daniel was autistic, but in a place where awareness was scarce and patience even scarcer. No one used that word. Instead, they used easier ones: weird, slow, mad, useless. Even the teachers overlooked him, except when they needed someone to blame. At home, things were quieter, but not necessarily kinder. Daniel lived with his parents in a small one-room apartment. Stuck into a struggling part of Buhari, the walls were cracked in thin, spreading lines, the ceiling leaking during heavy rain, forcing them to rearrange their lives around buckets and bowls. Electricity came and went like an unreliable visitor, never announced and never guaranteed. His father, Mr. Okeke, was a bus conductor whose days were measured in long hours and short tempers. His mother sold roasted corn by the roadside, her hands toughened by heat and efforts. They loved Daniel. That much was true, but love without understanding can feel like distance. Why can't you just be like other children? His mother would say sometimes, her voice heavy with exhaustion rather than anger. You don't talk. You don't greet properly. People are talking. Daniel will sit quietly on the floor. His sketchbook opened across his lap, and he would draw, always draw. Faces that carried emotions too deep for words, streets that felt alive with stories, shadows that seemed to remember things. What he could not see, he translated into lines. What he could not explain, he shaped into images. His art was not just good, it was extraordinary, but nobody saw it. School was where Daniel's silence became both his shield and his prison.
"Hey, artist," a voice called one afternoon. Daniel froze before he even turned. He already knew by the time he faced them. The circle had already formed. At the center stood Sadiq Bello, the kind of boy who didn't need permission to take space, tall, loud, confident in the way people became when they have never been questioned. "Draw me," Sadiq said, snatching Daniel's sketchbook before he could react. Daniel's heart began to race, not from fear alone, but from the sudden shift, the loss of control, the disruption of something that grounded him. "Give it back," he whispered. The words barely existed. He can talk." Another boy laughed. Sadiq flipped through the pages, and for a moment, just a moment, his expression changed. Something softer, something surprised. Because what he saw wasn't normal, it was powerful. But softness is dangerous in the crowd, and Sadiq knew it. "This is nonsense." He scoffed suddenly, tearing a page out with deliberate force. "You think say you be Picasso?" The tearing sound was sharp, violence final. The boys burst into laughter. Daniel moved instinctively, reaching forward, but halfway through his body stopped, locked. His breathing became uneven. The pages drifted to the ground like something fragile that didn't deserve what had just happened. His drawing ruined. And just like that, the noise swallowed him again. That night, Daniel didn't eat. He sat in the corner of his room, his back against the wall, staring at the torn pages he had managed to recover. His mother noticed. "Daniel, come and eat." No response. She sighed, placing the plate beside him. "Anyway, you won't always have people to help you in life," she muttered softly. "You need to be strong." Daniel's fingers traced the torn edge of the paper, slowly, carefully, as if memorizing the damage. Then, without a word, he picked up his pencil and began again. In his word,
Things made sense. Lines followed rules, shadows behaved, colors spoke when words could not. And inside that quiet, controlled space, Daniel was not invincible. He was not broken. He was not the boy. He was everything. But outside the world, he was still unseen, and worse, he was still someone no one was trying to see. The new teacher arrived on a Tuesday morning without announcement or spectacle. No one paid attention at first. He simply walked into the classroom with a calm presence that didn't demand notice but quietly earned it. "Good morning, class," he said. His voice was soft, steady, controlled, different. "My name is Mr. Tunde Adebayo. I will be your fine arts teacher." A few students nodded. Most did not care. Fine arts was not a subject that changed lives. At least that was what they believed. But at the back of the room, Daniel looked up. Something about the voice, something about the calm, something unfamiliar in the best way. For the first time in a long time, something held his attention. Mr. Adebayo noticed things, not loudly, not immediately, but carefully. He noticed the boy who never spoke, the boy who flinched when chairs creaked, the boy who avoided eye contact like it physically hurt, the boy whose fingers moved even when he was still, as if his mind was always drawing, always creating, always somewhere else. And most importantly, he noticed the sketchbook. "Daniel," he called one day. The class dawned immediately. Some students smiled, already expecting something to laugh at. Daniel froze. Slowly he stood. "Can I see your work?" Silence. Daniel hesitated. His grip tightened. "I won't take it," Mr. Adebayo added gently. "Just show me." Time skirted. Then Daniel stepped forward and handed it over. Mr. Adebayo opened the sketchbook, turned one page, then another, and then he stopped breathing for a moment. What he saw was not ordinary talent, it was depth, emotion layered into lining, understanding beyond age, control without formal training. It was raw, it was rare. "Who taught you this?" he asked quietly. Daniel shrugged. "I just draw." And for once, the class was silent. That afternoon, Mr. Adebayo sat alone in the staff room. Daniel's sketches spread across the table. He stared at them not just with admiration but recognition, because he had seen something like this before, years ago, in someone who also didn't fit, someone who also struggled to exist in the space that demanded conformity. The word didn't mean anything to most of the students in the room. It passed through them like air, unnoticed, unchallenged, unimportant. But for Daniel, it stayed, not as a definition but as a feeling. He had spent his entire life trying to understand rules no one ever explained. When to speak, when to look, when to laugh, when to stop. Everyone else seemed to know. He didn't. Most people believe that fitting in is the same thing as being accepted. Mr. Adebayo said, his voice calm and steady. A few students nodded without thinking, but it's not. Daniel sat still, his fingers resting against the edge of his desk. Not tapping, not moving, listening. Fitting in often means hiding the parts of yourself that makes other people uncomfortable. The teacher continued. He paused, Acceptance means those parts are allowed to exist. The classroom felt different for a moment, quieter, heavier. Daniel didn't look up, but something inside him shifted. After the bell, as students rushed out in noise and movements, Mr. Adebayo's voice cut through gently. Daniel. He stood slowly. The room emptied around him like always, but this time, he didn't feel the same urgency to disappear. Walk with me, the teacher said. They moved through the corridor. Voices echoed, footsteps overlapped, lockers slammed. Daniel's shoulder tightened slightly, his eyes stayed low. I used to count things, Mr. Adebayo said as they walked. Daniel glanced up just for a second. Steps, sounds, patterns. I made the world feel predictable. Daniel blinked. I didn't understand people either, the teacher continued. Not the way they expected me to. He stopped walking, but I understood something different. Daniel waited. Lines, shadows, movements, forms, acts made sense when people didn't. Something inside Daniel aligned with that. Quietly, calmly, clearly. There is a student art showcase in a few weeks, Mr. Adebayo said. Daniel sniffed. I think you should be a part of it. Silence followed immediately. Heavy. Daniel's fingers began to move again. Tapped. Pulse. I don't. He stirred, then stopped. Tried again. I don't like people. I know, Mr. Adebayo said. They won't be looking at you. They will be looking at your work. Daniel shook his head slightly. It's the same. The honesty of it hung in the air. Mr. Adebayo didn't argue. Need not decide now, he said. Just think about it. That night, the room was dim. The electricity was gone again. A small lantern cast uneven light across the cracked walls. Daniel sat on the floor with his sketchbook opened. But he wasn't drawing. The idea replayed in his mind. People looking, people whispering, people laughing. His breathing shifted. Uneven, then another thought came. Quieter. Not people, they walk. He looked down at the blank pages. Slowly he began to draw. Not carefully this time, not controlled. The lines came faster, stronger, more certain. Emotion moved through his hand instead of staying trapped inside him. And for the first time, Daniel wasn't drawing what he saw. He was drawing what he felt. Across the street, under a flickering light, Sadiq stood with two boys. You don't notice Sam? One of them said. Sadiq didn't respond immediately. You know they shake hands like before. Sadiq's eyes stayed focused, watching, calculating. I go fix Sam, he said quietly. Not loud, not angry, certain. The next day at school, something looked different, but something had changed. Daniel still sat at the back, still avoided eye contact, still spoke only when necessary. But he didn't shrink the same way, not completely. During class, when laughter rose around him, he still reached himself.
but it didn't pull him apart the way it used to. He held on to something now, something quiet, something steady. Later that afternoon in the art room, he drew again. Longer this time, deeper. Mr. Adebayo stayed nearby, but didn't hover, didn't interrupt, didn't correct, and that mattered because for once Daniel wasn't being watched. He was being allowed. Days passed. Small changes built quietly. Daniel began coming to the art room regularly. Not every day, but enough. Enough for it to become familiar. Enough for it to feel safe. And slowly, almost invisibly, his work began to change. More detail, more emotion, more truth. But outside that room, the world was still the same. And not everyone was comfortable with that. One afternoon, as Daniel walked through the corridor, Sadiq stepped into his path. No warning, no build-up, just presence. Daniel stopped. His finger flinched slightly against his sketchbook. "You dey form now," Sadiq said. Daniel didn't respond. "You think say you don't better pass us, abi?" Silence. Students closed as they passed, watching, waiting. Daniel breathing shifted. But he didn't move, didn't step back, didn't speak. And that alone was different. Sadiq noticed his expression hardened. He reached out suddenly and grabbed the sketchbook. Daniel's body reacted instantly, not aggressively, not loudly, but urgently. "Give it back," he said. The words were quiet, but clear. Sadiq paused just for a second because it was new. Then he smirked. "You get mine now." He flipped the sketchbook, opened, turned a page, then another, and again that same moment happened. That brief flicker of recognition, because the drawing was not normal. They were something else, something real. But the boys around him were watching. And softness does not survive in the crowd. Sadiq scoffed. "Still be nonsense." He threw the sketchbook back. It hit Daniel's chest and fell slightly in his grip. The laughter came again. But this time, Daniel didn't bend to pick up pieces, because nothing was torn, nothing was destroyed. And more importantly, he wasn't either. Sadiq stepped closer, close enough for only Daniel to hear. "This one no go end like last time." Then he walked away. The corridor slowly returned to normal. The word was not done testing him. The next few days felt heavier, not louder, not more chaotic, just heavier. Daniel noticed it in small things. The way Sadiq watched him now, not with amusement, with intent, and in the way silence followed him sometimes. Not kindness, but curiosity. That afternoon in the art room, something changed. The door opened quietly
Daniel did not look up at first. He thought it was Mr. Adebayo. It wasn't. A girl stepped in, neat uniform, calm presence. She didn't speak immediately, just walked closer, then stopped. "You drew this?" she asked softly. Daniel froze. Slowly he nodded. She studied the page longer than most people ever did. Not quickly, not carelessly. "It feels real," she said. Daniel didn't know what to do with that. "I'm Aisha," she added. A pause. "Daniel." That was it. No laughter, no pressure. But the next day, she came back. And the day after that, sometimes they spoke, sometimes they didn't. But for Daniel, that silence wasn't empty. It was safe. Outside that room, things were not safe. At home, the pressure grew quietly. His father stopped going to work, coughing more, speaking less. Money became thinner, meals became smaller. One evening, his mother said it plainly, "We are trying to survive, Daniel." He nodded. He understood. The next day, Mr. Adebayo called him again. "The competition," he said. "Think about it." Daniel shook his head immediately. "Too many people," he said. "Too loud, too much." He hesitated, then added, "My parents can't afford it." Mr. Adebayo said to him, "Calm, steady. I will handle that," he said. Daniel said strongly, "I can't." And this time, his voice didn't shake. It was final. Mr. Adebayo held his gaze for a moment, then nodded. "Okay." No argument, no pressure. And that confused Daniel more than anything, because for the first time, someone believed in him enough to let him walk away. That night, Daniel sat with his sketchbook. The room was quiet, too quiet. He stared at the page, not drawing. Then, slowly, he flipped through old sketches, the torn ones, the quiet ones, the angry one, pieces of himself. His finger rested on a blank page. His mind was loud. Fear, noise, crowds, failure, and then something else. Aisha standing beside him, saying nothing. Mr. Adebayo's voice, calm, certain. "You're gifted." Daniel finally decided to join the competition. He picked up his pencil, and this time he didn't stop. The hall was already full when Daniel arrived. Voices layered over each other, footsteps, movements, energy, too much. His breathing shifted. "I'm here," Aisha said beside him. He didn't look at her, but he nodded. And that was enough. Inside, artists moved with confidence, some laughing, some showing off. But Daniel stood still, watching. Then the theme was announced: identity and belonging. The words landed deep. Daniel sat. He continued drawing. Daniel sat there still holding the pencil that had carried him this far. The noise around him faded into the background. For once, it wasn't overwhelming, it was distant. He has done it not by becoming someone else, not by forcing himself to fit in, but by staying exactly who he was. A few weeks later, his name was called again, this time not just in his school, but beyond it. Daniel Okeke. The opportunity came faster than he could fully process. A chance to represent Nigeria, to take his art beyond everything he had ever known. Europe was different. New places, new people, new expectations. But this time, Daniel didn't feel lost because he wasn't trying to understand everything anymore. He was just present. When the competition ended, he didn't come first, he came third. And for a moment, people waited for disappointment, but it didn't come, because this was never just about winning, it was about being seen. And now people were looking, not laughing, not to judge, but to understand. Years later, Daniel returned home. The same school, the same walls, the same almond trees, but everything felt different. He walked into the art room. Mr. Adebayo turned and smiled. No words, none were needed, because some things don't need to be explained. Outside, students laughed, ran, lived, and this time Daniel stood amongst them, not invincible, not separate, just there. At home, life had changed. A better space, more light, room to breathe. His mother sat quietly, taking it all in, smiling through tears. Daniel stood by the window, sketchbook in his hands. The world was still loud, still imperfect, still unpredictable. But now, it didn't feel like something he had to fight. He understood something simple, something powerful. He didn't need to fit into the world. He just needed to exist within it. And that was enough.